Number 1 ranked contender by the WBO, actually in the top 5 by all 4 of the sanctioning bodies, 32-0, Giovanni Santillan, fighting at home in San Diego this Saturday on the Emmanuel Navarrete undercard on ESPN. And yeah, in another good fight against Brian Norman. And coming off, we'll start there, Gio, coming off the best win of his career, where you had the best performance of your career against the best opponent so far in your career. How were you able to do that? How were you able to summon your best performance for what was supposed to be your toughest assignment?
I think, first off, great preparation, great training camp. And also, I had fought in July. So staying active, I think helps me, staying active, just staying in the gym, staying in camp. But also just knowing everything that was on the line, how big of a fight that was for me and me being the underdog, that just made me want to go out there and show everybody what I got.
What is it? You're with Robert Garcia, one of the best trainers in boxing. What is it about Robert that's made you a better fighter and made you take a step forward as a fighter?
He has a lot of experience as a coach, so he's been able to guide me very well, in these past few fights. Ever since I joined this camp, I feel like I've improved a lot. And also, I'm surrounded by world class fighters. They're at the gym. I'm always sparring and training with them. So all of that's helped me a lot, I feel.
To make it, a technical thing. What is it, maybe technically you could share with the fans? Because you're already a good aggressive southpaw, but it just seems like everything's gotten a little bit tighter and better under Robert.
Yeah, I mean, with him, it's not just about going forward and attacking, defense as well, using my jab, working the body, just being well rounded is certain things that he has me working on. He has all his fighters working on.
Well, yeah, speaking of all his fighters, I know the sparring in that gym must be tremendous. Who do you feel like you get the most out of sparring in the gym?
Man, there's a lot of guys, man, a lot of guys I work with. I sparred like Jose Ramirez a lot, Lindolfo Delgado, Raymond Rotaya, all good fighters. There's some middleweights too, like Javier was helping me. Javier Martinez, I think he's fighting next month. He was helping me out for my last fight with Rocha. He's a southpaw, middleweight. And so I'm sparring guys that are bigger, same size, sometimes a little bit smaller. So working that speed. They all give me great work.
They ever put Bam in there for footwork? Make you work on cutting the ring off against his kind of footwork, or you or Bam ever get work in?
No, we never have, man. But that guy's a great fighter, man. I really like his fighting style.
One name I noticed you didn't mention was Virgil Ortiz. You guys get some rounds in too?
So we got some rounds in back in 2021 when I had first joined a camp with Robert Garcia. So I haven't really gotten in there that much ever since. Only that one time. But maybe if we fight to Southpaw in the future and we can help each other out, that'd be great. I feel like it'd be a great learning experience for me as well.
How does because it's a lot of exciting styles in that gym that throw combinations, can be aggressive. So, um, how do you does it basically almost turn into a fight in the gym, or does Robert find a way to keep it under a certain level of control, or just how tough is that sparring? How exciting does it get?
You got to be ready. Every time I show up to that gym, I got to be in shape. I got to be ready. Um, the way I spar, I always spar hard, man. And it's not to disrespect my opponents or anything like that, or my sparring partners. But that's just the way I work, and I've always worked that way. I think I got that just from when I was younger, sparring guys that were better or more experienced or bigger. So I learned to have to fight hard and spar hard. So that's just the way I've always trained. But no, man, you have to show up in shape for sure. You have to show up ready to sparring.
Is there like a science to it? Like because yeah, it sounds like it's pretty close to simulating a fight, the kind of sparring in that gym. But is it just like when you hurt a guy, you back off a little bit, whereas opposed to the fight, you press them? Or yeah, what's that fine line so you guys aren't going too crazy?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I would say separates the sparring from a fight is that if you hurt somebody, you see you hurt them, I'm gonna step back. I'm not gonna, especially because we don't have a ref in there, so I'm not gonna go and try to finish somebody. You usually pull back when it comes to something like that.
Maybe one day Robert could release some tapes from the gym, man, for the fans who put them on DVD.
I always say some of the best fights happen in gyms.
Well, talking about this fight, man. You got that aggressive style, And Brian Norman is a good puncher. Seems like he would like that. How do you think your styles are going to play out in this fight?
Yeah, I see that he can fight aggressively, going coming forward. So, you know, he might want to fight that way. But I've also seen him box a little bit more, use his legs a little bit more. So I don't know. I feel like if I touch him, if I hit him clean, I feel like he's gonna want to run a little bit, use his legs, box more. I notice on the inside he uses his head a lot. So those are some of the things that I'm watching out for. He brings in his head, uses little tactics like that. I kind of feel like he's not gonna want to bang it out with me in the center of the ring, to be honest.
Because of the pace or the placement of the shots on you're a better inside fighter. Why do you think he won't want to stay in that pocket too long?
I just feel that on the inside I'm gonna have the advantage. That's where I'm gonna have the advantage, and so I feel like he's gonna want to box a little bit more, to be honest, or be a little bit more in and out. So that's what I'm ready for. But if he decides to stay in the pocket with me, then we're ready for that too.
Um, I know a fighter can't truly know until they feel the other fighter's power, but how do you assess his power when you've watched them?
But when you watch somebody, it's like you said, you don't really know until you're in there. But you can tell, sometimes by their opponent's reactions that you see. Also, when you see someone's knockout record or the record, and you see the knockouts, you also got to pay attention to who they're knocking out. Sometimes they're knocking out guys that don't have winning records. So when you start noticing that they're not knocking people out as often anymore, and you see that they're facing more experienced fighters, and that shows you, okay, it wasn't just that they had a lot of power, maybe they weren't fighting great fighters yet.
Well, I know one thing in the boxing business that he got a little bit of a reputation for. Apparently, he sparred Terrence Crawford in Atlanta and had some good success in doing that. What do you make of that, Giovanni?
I don't think it means anything, man. To be honest, man, I've been in there with Floyd Mayweather. I was in Floyd Mayweather's camp. I've been there with Tim Bradley too. We all gotta, one thing is sparring and one thing is a fight. That's for sure.
When did you spar Floyd Mayweather?
Back in 2015, when he fought Manny Pacquiao, I was one of his sparring partners, meeting Southpaw.
You were like what 10, 11, 12 and 0 at the time or
Somewhere around that, maybe a little bit more. Uh, yeah, maybe around there. And then the following year, I sparred Timothy Bradley. I was one of his sparring partners for Manny Pacquiao as well.
so right, you were the Pacquiao simulator. You were the Southpaw from Cali to bring in if you had to fight Manny Pacquiao. But well, what do you recall about Mayweather, man? Was it just like sparring another guy, or was it like, okay, this guy is now I know for myself this is one of the best fighters ever, or what was it? Just like another day of sparring.
When I was over there, I was excited, man. I was excited to be a part of that, especially because that was being talked about like the biggest fight ever at that time, So I was really excited to be a part of that. When I went in there, I didn't feel too nervous. I was just excited to be able to share the ring with him. But I felt like I did a really good job. I wasn't like some of his other sparring partners that got invited. I had to go and pretty much try out. After that first session, or before the first session, they told me, hey, we're not sure if we're gonna use you or need you, but we'll see how you do today. So I went in there and did my thing, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna need you for this camp. So I feel like I earned my spot to be there.
Was it by earn your spot? Did they make you spar another fighter in the gym, like in the doghouse, and you had to show what you were made of, and then you got to spar Floyd? Or
No, no, I had to
okay,
spar him. I had to spar him. Yeah.
okay.
The thing is with Floyd, I'm sure you've heard like he'll make the rounds long, 6 minute rounds, like a 10, 15 second break. So I was able to go through all that.
He tried to break you.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Was that a moment where you found out you got more confidence in yourself because you were able to maybe hold your own with Floyd Mayweather?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely confidence booster. And it was just a great experience for me to be out there.
Now, coming out of San Diego, last time you fought on this, it was another Navarrete card, and you got a knockout. You did perform really well, but like I know Rey Mysterio came out of San Diego. I know Tony Hawk came out of San Diego. I know Ken Norton fought Ali in San Diego, but I don't think boxing is the first thing that comes to mind for a lot of people when it comes to San Diego. How were you? Can you talk about that for a minute? Just being a homegrown talent from San Diego and what that was like.
Yeah, man, exactly like you said. Boxing is not like you don't think San Diego. So I want to change that, man. That's my goal. I want people to say, man, there's a champion coming out of San Diego, world champs. So that's my goal. Be world champion representing San Diego. That's pretty much it.
Well, if you win this fight, it would seem like you're gonna fight for the WBO title next. How does that feel to be that close to becoming world champion if you win this fight?
Good, man. I'm excited. That's what's been motivating this whole camp. I thought this would be at least interim, but it didn't happen. But it's okay. I have to get the win. I have to show everybody, just like in my last fight, who I am. And it's exciting to be this close. So that's what's been motivating me and driving me through this camp.
Well, I know the WBO, if you get past Norman, that's next. And
Yep.
so Boots Ennis, that wouldn't be next. He has the IBF belt. He's defending the IBF. But what do you think of Boots Ennis, man? It seems like the fans believe he's the best fighter in this weight class now that Crawford's moved up. What do you think of him?
I think he's a good fighter, skilled. He's shown that he got speed, power, and skills. I think that'd be a very interesting fight. I would love that fight in the future. I see that being like a unification type of fight. And there's also these other. I think every belt has somebody, right? There's Stanionis, there's Barrios. So man, there's a lot of great fights to look forward to in the future for me. I just got to get past this guy on Saturday.
I know Stanionis and Barrios are good fighters with the titles too, but do you look at Boots as the toughest challenge in the division?
I would say he's shown the most skills for sure out of those three guys. Out of those three guys, I think he's shown to be probably the smartest fighter in there.
How do you think your style against his? How do you think that looks? How do you think that goes?
I feel it'd be a good fight, man. I know I got what it takes. I feel like the tougher the challenge for me, the I rise to that occasion, man. So those are the type of fights that I'm looking forward to.
So you're welcoming that fight. Once you get a belt, he's still in the division. Bring it on.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, to wrap it up, man, back to Brian Norman. You mentioned you don't think he'll stay in the inside. You got the advantage there. Do you think you break Brian Norman in this fight? Is that the goal to kind of to break him down and break him in this fight?
Absolutely, man. That's the goal. Break them down. Just like my last fight. I felt like I can do the same thing. I have to obviously different style. So I have to approach it a little bit differently, but I believe that I can do that, man. I've been working hard for this. I feel like that's what I can do with this guy. I don't feel like he's faced anybody like me.
Is that kind of your X factor that allows you to be with the top of the top in the division? It isn't that you're the fastest guy or the biggest one punch puncher. Is it more your will, your conditioning, things like that, those kinds of intangibles?
I think that's part of it, man. I think that's part of it. But I think I have a lot more skills to show that I think in my last fight I showed a little bit more, a little bit different. I'm gonna continue doing that in these next upcoming fights.
Well, best of luck to you and Norman. May the best man win. Good health to both fighters. And if there's anything else you want to say to boxing fans, let it be known, brother. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Gio.
Thank you.
Thanks,